411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. For your girl, 411 Live.
You know, some folks try to handle family court and the family court system on their own. No lawyer, no representation, a mountain of paperwork. And it can be overwhelming, you know? And honestly, it can be pretty confusing. But there is a ray of hope, someone to kind of guide people through the maze that they may encounter. Hello, everyone. I'm Beverly Taylor. This is the 411 Live, real people, real talk. Today, we're going to talk about maneuvering in family court. I have two guests joining me, and I want to welcome them. Lisa Allgood-Beal, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And her daughter, Jasmine Allgood.
Hello.
It's a dynamic duo
Yes,
here,
ma'am.
right? They are behind Allgood Family Forms Consultant, and we may refer to it as AFFC.
Yes.
Here in Milwaukee. And they want to help people who encounter the family court system and are just overwhelmed. So first of all, I want to find out from you, Lisa, because you worked within the family court system for many years, right? What did you see, and what was kind of like the catalyst for your organization?
I saw a lot of individuals that were stressed, that were overwhelmed with coming up to the court system to get a court date, to file paperwork, and them coming up without an attorney. It was scary for them, I felt, and we were not able to give them the assistance that I felt that we should have been able to give them. So after I retired from Milwaukee County, I decided, with the help of the Lord, I decided that that was something that I needed to do, that I was called to do, to be able to help families that couldn't afford attorneys to be able to navigate through that system.
What can you give me an example of how bad it got at times?
Yes, I've had quite a few, mainly dads, that would come up and end up getting a court date, going through what they think is the correct paperwork, no guidance. So they would think it's the correct paperwork. We would kind of send them off and say, yeah, you got to fix it. But when they came back the second time, we had to take it. And then they would wait 3 to 6 months for a court date. They would go in front of a court commissioner, and the court commissioner would say, this isn't right. You have to do it all over again. And then they end up giving them another court date. Now they're frustrated, they're angry, they're mad, they're yelling, and we're trying to calm them down to let them know, but we're still giving them another 3 to 6 months court date. And the deputies are now coming up to the front because they hear that their voice is elevated, and they're coming to the front. And unfortunately, there were a few dads that ended up getting arrested just for being at the courthouse trying to get a court date.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So what did you, to yourself, what did you say? Okay, I see a problem here.
Oh, definitely. And a solvable problem. It wasn't like it was a problem that couldn't be addressed. It wasn't so overwhelming that it couldn't be helped. So me seeing that situation and knowing that I was able to help them, sometimes I would actually go in the hall and kind of talk to them and try to calm them down before they got to that point. I was able to help a lot of individuals. There were some that were too far gone by certain times, but I was able to calm them down and say, listen, go down to the Legal Resource Center, which they do have help at the courthouse.
Right.
Go down there and see if they can assist you. And they said, well, no, the line's too long. It's first come, first serve. I can't afford an attorney. And that's all I could do. I could never tell them, because of my hands being tied, tell them, just do this, this, and this, serve the person and do this. It's not overwhelming. It's overwhelming if you don't know. But if you have someone that can guide you, it's so much easier. So that's where the Lord led me to be able to help individuals to say, we can do this.
Okay. So you retire.
Yes.
And then you say, okay, I have a ministry here.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Yes.
So then it's the All Good Family Forms Consultants. And then this young lady
Oh my goodness.
comes
Yeah.
up and says, "Mom, I want to join this."
I can do this. Look, I can help you with this. I can help you with this. So that's where Jasmine comes in.
So Jasmine, what made you want to get involved?
I would say mainly the legacy, just because I think the passion behind what she wants to do, what my mom wants to do, I feel like I can learn and I can continue the passion years coming. So when I have a family or I'll have a daughter one day, God willing, I'll be able to teach her what my mom taught me. So decades down the line, there will still be all good family forums able to help people navigate through the family court system.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So how does this all work? How do people connect with you to get the help they need?
So we have different partnerships that we're working with. So individuals will be given our information so they can be directed to us. We go to different community organizations to put our flyers out and to answer questions. We have our 15-minute free consultation. So we're able to talk to individuals to let them know that we can help them. If we can't help them, which some we can't, we'll be able to refer them to an attorney. So if they go onto our website, allgoodfamilyconsultants.com, they'll be able to see our website and be able to make an appointment. So, and Jasmine books the appointment, and then I'm able to call them back and talk to them about if we can help them. If we can help them, we set up an appointment for them to come in the office, and then we explain all of the forms to them. They complete the forms. We guide them with the forms. And then after we guide them with the forms, we go down to the courthouse so they're not overwhelmed. We go down and file the papers for them, get the court date, and serve the other party. So the only thing they have to do is be prepared for their hearing, which should be normal.
Right.
That should be the only thing that you have to worry about. Thinking about your kids, thinking about placement, thinking about money, you shouldn't be overwhelmed with paperwork. So that's where we come in, to be able to help with that paperwork and do all the legwork so they can just concentrate on explaining their case to the court commissioner.
Right. So you get them at the front door and they walk in.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
We get them prepared for the front door and make sure that they're able. Because of my years of being at family court, I like to calm them down because they're at the point that their nerves are in an uproar, thinking, okay, what's going to happen? Where are we going? What are they going to do? And then I kind of calm them down and let them know that court commissioners, they're regular people. They understand stuff that's going on. Go in and present your case. So that puts a lot of moms and dads at ease because they know what to expect.
Right.
So we get them ready for going in. And once again, we're not attorneys, so we can't predict the outcome of what's going to happen, but we get them as close to being prepared as possible, as humanly possible.
Right, right. So you take care of the paperwork. So that's all done, the filing for the hearing. I mean, so basically you're saying, okay, here's your court date.
Exactly.
The whole 9 yards.
And right, and then talking them through the process. Okay, you're going to see the commissioner. The commissioner is going to ask you, some of these things.
Exactly.
Have an answer for this. You have some questions. Write down your questions. What do you want to ask the commissioner, or what do you want the commissioner to know? Baby steps, just walking them through. And I'm sure you can't help everybody.
Exactly.
Right? You can give into them, but if they're not receptive,
we can't.
You
That's
just
it.
can't.
But at least the service is there. We're able
Right.
to offer them that service and let them know that we can help them as far as they're willing to allow us to help them. So, but yeah, some individuals, their case, I have one individual now that I told him that we couldn't help him. Baby was born in one state, living in another state, and they're here in Wisconsin. Okay, that's not a pro se, not something we can help you with. You're going to have to go to an attorney. So some individuals we have to refer to attorneys that, but 98% of individuals are pro se. We can help them.
Where do you see a lot of the breakdown, where they missed a step? Is that in getting the other party served, or?
Yes, that's mainly it, not knowing how to get the other party served and having that proof of service that they need to give to the court commissioner. Sometimes, unfortunately, their form is not completed correctly. They decided to do it themselves. So even if they get the other party served, the court commissioner still gives them another court date because their paperwork is not proper, is not complete.
Oh, wow. I can see the anger that comes up.
Very much so. The frustration and the anger, yes.
Especially if the court date is 3 months, 6 months. So it could be, if you make a mistake, it could be from the time that you first attempted to the time of the actual hearing. It could be a year.
We can be, we can be 9 to 12 months.
And that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just to potentially, in some cases, just see your baby, and you have to wait that long.
Right.
And they have no visitation schedule, so that's how long they would have to wait before they can see their minor child, or they've lost their job before they can get their child support reduced. They're taking care of the baby and back and forth, but their child support is still being added and still being accumulated because they can't go to court. So that interest and everything is still being added onto them, and they haven't got a chance to go to court to say, hey, I lost my job or my hours were reduced. They have to wait that long, and that interest is still building up.
Yeah.
So once again, our main goal is for moms and dads not to go to court at all. So with the mediation and stipulation we do, we can have the individuals, if they're talking and it's not a restraining order or anything that's in place, and mom and dad love their kids more than they dislike each other, that's our goal. If you love your kid, Jasmine and I didn't like her dad. I don't know if we can say that. But after we got divorced, I did not like her dad. But we loved Jasmine more than anything else. So
She's looking at me because she wants me to tell my story.
Okay, tell your story.
Yes, ma'am. Real quick, I called myself a stipulation baby. I knew at a young age that my parents did not agree with each other, but they still had to raise me. So I was a stipulation baby. I got to be with my mom during the week. I got to be with my dad during the weekend, and I got a equal time with both of my parents. And not a lot of people can say that growing up in my generation, that even though my parents divorced, I still got a great relationship with my father and with my mother. So that's something that I will carry forever.
See, that's the way it's supposed to work.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it's unfortunate when a divorce has to happen,
Yeah.
but they happen. And full disclosure, I do mediation with child placement, child custody. So I see these two parties that come. And one of my big thing is to try to instill in them that they're not on separate teams. They're on the same team. So in your case, it would be Team Jasmine that they're on, right? And so they're looking to work to come up with a plan that best works and you know is the best for Jasmine.
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't, you know, you have parties. It takes a while for some parties to get to that point because there's so much anger, so much bitterness that they're still fighting with each other to focus on the baby, the Jasmine.
Yes, ma'am.
So I understand what you're talking about. But you're right. If they can come to an agreement and avoid the whole process of the court appearance, that's huge.
they can save time, they can save money, and they're making their own schedule.
Yep.
They're not having a third party tell them, you got to pick them up at 3 o'clock. Well, I don't get off until 4:15. I mean, your whole point is that you make up your own schedule. You decide what's in the best interest for team minor child.
Okay.
Look, new team Jasmine. No, little team minor child. But it is really important that the mom and dad who knows what's best for their kid. So if they love their kid more than they dislike each other, then that's how, even with school, everything, it is going to help. When when Jasmine's dad and I went to her activities at school, volleyball, she didn't play well, volleyball, and well, her dance was great. But when we went to her activities, I was on one side of the stadium and he was on the other side of the stadium. we were there. She has to wave like this
Go
to both of us.
sides. But it was awesome for me. I got them both there at the same time.
There you go. There you go. That's
It's
support.
important.
That's the important thing, right?
Yep.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about, your business, what you do, and how people can get in touch with you. You're looking and you're listening to the 411 Live. Stay with us.
Jay, it's me. I spoke to Mom and Dad. We don't think you should have a gun right now. It's temporary. Things felt dangerous. I think you need to talk to somebody.
I don't know which way to turn.
Jay, you took that first hard step to find someone that can help you on the path to recovery.
You sound good.
I think I see a way through.
Jay!
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to the 411 Live. We are here with the Allgood Family Forms Consultants, and I'm looking at the name on your shirt. That's very helpful. Lisa and Jasmine. Tell me, how do you think that, we kind of talked about kind of the emotions that come up, trauma that people go through, within the relationship, there could be some abuse, all these different things, these emotional things. How does that kind of figure in the work that they have to do? They have all this paperwork asking all these questions, and does that add to that stress and being overwhelmed?
Absolutely. Having that, just the arguments, just the individuals that are not cooperating with one another, not on the same page, one knowing that he or she knows better for the child than the other person. It's overwhelming. And then having a court system that's put into place that's not there to help. I mean, going down to the courthouse is overwhelming, period. It's a frightful place. A lot of negative stuff, except for getting married. A lot of negative stuff come from being at the courthouse. So on top of all of that additional stress, it's the courthouse atmosphere. So our goal is to not have them go to the courthouse, for them to end up coming to our office, or for us to meet them on, there's a location that me and Jazzy went to, which is Thriving on King Drive. It is a beautiful atmosphere, so individuals are more at ease and comfortable. So if we can get them out of the mindset of being at the courthouse, they're able to explain a little bit better. We're able to work under comfortable situations that we can get more accomplished. So it's a lot of stress already. So if we can take a little bit of that stress off of individuals, that's our goal.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So how often are you able to work with them to come to agreement and, get the paperwork done so they don't have to go through that hearing process?
I think that out of the people that even, let's just do for this month, the individuals that we've had this month, we've had about 22 this month. And 20 of them we were able to help with the paperwork and get everything completed. The one individual that was the Texas, and we couldn't help, and we had to refer to an attorney. Another gentleman had older case.
Yeah, it was an extreme older case, and we couldn't really
Help him because it was a 1973 case, and he was saying he wasn't the father.
So yeah.
And that was difficult trying to explain to him that it's over. You
Right.
can't do anything.
It's
It's done. You are, whether your DNA proved it or not, you're the dad. Milwaukee County states you're the dad. You're the dad. So that was a little frustrating for him. But yeah, we're able to help quite a few individuals get to that point of not needing to go to the courthouse to have them ready for court.
That's great. And it's the couples or the parties who cannot agree that need to go before the commissioner.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
The parties that agree do not need to go in front of a court commissioner at all. We literally send the paperwork in for the court commissioner to sign it. It becomes an order. That stipulation now becomes an order. They never have to go in front of a court commissioner. There's standard procedures that when an individual files a motion that court commissioners have to follow. And those individuals have to file the motion, get a court date, do mediation, get a guardian ad litem or a GAL for the minor child. All of this costs money and has more time in there that they don't understand. And it doesn't just affect the dads. A lot of moms think that all of this cost is just going to go to the dads. So that's why they're okay with it until the court commissioner lets them know, hey, you have to pay 50%. And then moms want to call us and say, okay, let's do your mediation. We can't. You have a court order now. You have to continue the process. So we're not able to intercede after they've been to court and got that motion filed.
Oh, that's an important nugget right
so
there.
we cannot help them any longer. So we try to convince them and let them know this is what's going to happen. And unfortunately, some individuals are, I think from Minnesota, because they got to show me. And so they have to see that that's what happened. And then they want to call us later and we have to explain to them we can't help.
Right, because it's in the court
It's
system.
in the court system.
And
They
it's got to
filed
play
a
out.
motion. Exactly.
We were talking about, folks coming in, like males who lose their job or something, and the child support is still going on, and interest is, accumulating. You can actually intervene in that too.
Absolutely.
So how can you help in that?
So with that case, first of all, we try to find out so with the stipulation and if child support is owed, there's two separate entities. There's money that's owed to the mom and then money that's owed to the state. If mom stipulates to zero out or reduce the amount that's owed to her, we can do a stipulation for that part. Bib bam, thank you, ma'am, it's over. The amount that's owed to the state or child support office, we would have to file a motion and have child support served. When child support is served, they can go to the front of the court commissioner and explain to the court commissioner, hey, this is how much this individual owes. And then most of the time, the court commissioner looks and says, they owe $3,000, but you got them paying $26,000. They're like, oh, that's the interest. The court commissioner says, okay, that's not working. So majority of the time, the court commissioner is able to look at that and be able to adjust the amount that's owed to the state. So that's really important for individuals. But don't forget, if dads never say anything, that's what the state and child support is betting on. Dad's not saying anything. Then they get their license taken away. They can't get a passport. I have a gentleman that can't get a passport. So all of these barriers are there now just because they didn't file the motion to go to court and say, hey, you're charging too much.
Yeah. It's one of those cases you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Correct.
Because this information is huge. I mean, I would imagine that there are a lot of people in this situation.
A lot of dads and moms, mainly dads, but a lot of Black and brown dads that are in this situation because they don't know. And if you don't know, you're not fixing anything. You're not trying to fix anything because you don't know that it can be fixed. You think that this letter that was sent to you by the child support is set in stone. This is what you have to do. But you have to be able to address it and then see what can happen.
My goodness. So, because there are men who would say, okay, I've made enough, I can pay that child support, but I can't pay this interest.
Exactly. So they need to be able to file a motion to go to court to say, can I pay this amount? And the majority of the time, the child support is going to say, okay, but you have to ask. And what Jasmine's favorite, closed mouths don't get fed.
They don't.
Yes. So if you don't ask, we don't know. Sometimes it's not always. Once again, nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
But if you don't ask, you don't know.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know, Jasmine, you have a saying of don't put God in a box.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
So, and that applies to this business.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking?
I would say applying that to our business, I was asked a few days ago, like, where do we see our business going? And in the future, let's say 5 years down the line, where do we see All Good Family Forms? And I truly believe that the human mind cannot think or imagine as far as God can. I say that don't put God in a box because I can imagine the plans and the goals that God has in store for me. It's not my job to come up with the blueprint or come up with the plan. God has already written the plan. That's why life is not fair, because God fights my battles. God fights those battles who follow and obey him. So I couldn't tell you where we will be in 5 years. I mean, I tell my mom all the time, I see bright things that God tells me all the time, and I just need to follow them so we can continue to feel God's love.
Wow. That's great. That's great. She's a motivator.
She is. I mean, when I'm to the point that the business is stressing and bills aren't getting paid and this, that, and I want to cry. And she was going like, what you doing? I'm going like, Jazz, I'm just overwhelmed. She was going like, because you're thinking too much. You need to give it to God and let go. Mm-hmm. And I'm going like, Jasmine, it's just easier said than done. She was going like, how do you know? You're not doing it. You're not doing it. You have to let go and you have to let God lead us and direct us. And it's difficult for me because I'm a planner. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that wants to know this is being taken care of and this is being done. And a younger person, I won't say your age, but a younger person, she is like, Mom, you can't. You have to let go. You have to let God lead us in whatever direction that he's taking us in. I would have never thought in a million years in 2022 when I started that I would be sitting here at this position that we're in now.
So I'm going to keep following God. Yeah. He's leading us down the right path, okay?
So, yes, I am listening to her, and she is a great motivator. I see her on the stage, and she's dancing and performing, and she gets such power out of it. And I'm going like, how do you remember all that? She said, I don't. I let God. I'm going like, okay, all right. So she said it just comes through her, and I feel it. She is a motivator. I never thought that she would be in the position that she's motivating me. I've been doing this longer than her as far as my religion and everything, but she is a great motivator.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So you guys do workshops for organizations and for, individuals who need assistance in navigating the family court process. So we're out of time, but I want you to tell us one more time that website so they'll know whether they need the service personally or whether they need it for, say, their organization for a workshop.
Perfect. And we have both of those on our website. We would love for communities, for churches, for anyone that wants schools, that wants us to come in. We're mobile. We'll come in and do the workshop. So allgoodfamilyconsultants.com is going to give them all the information they need. Allgoodfamilyconsultants.com. And on that website, there's a phone number, so you can also talk to us for us to be able to help. But we would love to be able to do the workshops. And like I said, the churches, schools, community organizations, to get it out there so they can understand the forms.
That's great. I applaud you for what you're doing and the enthusiasm. That's great too. So thank you, Lisa and Jasmine, for joining me.
Thank you
so much for having us.
Oh, you're so welcome. And they're with the All Good Family Forms Consultants.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll remember that. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We are a nonprofit organization, so if you'd like to help, go to our website, the411live.org. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live, real people, real talk. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.